Thank you for clicking on part 3 of this video series of virtualroof.com. In part 3 we're going to show you Outlook, QuickBooks, Act e-marketing, and screenshots of how all of it looks on the iPad. Okay, we're going to get things started by going over to Outlook. And this is the full-blown desktop version of Outlook, just like every other software application we host. We host over 320 different software applications, and it's always the full desktop version. So Outlook in this environment is going to work exactly the same way it does on your local machine. But one thing that I wanted to point out here are these buttons up on the toolbar that link Act and Outlook together. These buttons, and the reason I want to point these out is that these buttons are not available if you're using Act for Web. So that's another distinction between our service and someone who's hosting Act for Web. We actually provide you the full integration between Act and Outlook because we're hosting the desktop versions of those. So if I wanted to attach this email to a contact in my Act database, I just click on Attach to Act Contacts. If I wanted to add a contact to my Act database, I just click on Create Act Contact and it'll create an Act contact from the incoming email that's in my inbox. Okay, I'm going to switch over now to QuickBooks real quick just to again demonstrate that we do host the full-blown desktop versions. This is QuickBooks Pro 2011 and it is the full-blown version. So if I go into create invoices, right away an invoice comes up and I'm able to create an invoice right here inside QuickBooks. If I want to receive payments, I click on receive payments and there's my payment window in QuickBooks. So again, full-blown desktop version. Let's go back to Act just for a moment, and I want to demonstrate SwiftPage email to you, or now as it's known, Sage e-marketing. And so I'm going to go to that, and right away you see that pops up. Again, one of the reasons I'm showing you this is because this is not available in Act for Web. But it is available when you host Act through us at virtualroof.com because, again, we host the full desktop versions and you can do anything in our environment that you could do on your local desktop with Act. So from here, I'm able to send out an email template, an HTML email to the current contact in Act, to the current lookup, to all contacts, or to a selected group. And if you're familiar with SwiftPage, you know what I'm doing. If you're not familiar with SwiftPage, it's similar to Constant Contact in that it keeps track of how many folks received an email, how many of those folks opened an email from you, how many clicked on links in an email from you. Not only that, but it keeps count of how many times each one of those individuals did that. And it will produce a call list sorted by the hottest prospects first based on their score, based on the number of times they opened your email and clicked on links. The beauty of this, though, from Sage is that this works right inside of the Act database. So I don't have to create lists using Excel, and it also records history on each contact record in the Act database of those opens and those clicks. So that's what's really cool about it. Also, you have drip marketing campaigns available to you through Act e-marketing, so you can set up these marketing campaigns and you can drop contacts from your Act database into these campaigns. You can do entire groups, or you can have them done automatically through surveys or web forms that they might fill out on your website. You can see that we have a number of surveys here. When we went to an expo, we've got an expo survey so that when people come by our booth, they can fill out a form or we can fill it out for them, and they're automatically added to our list, and they can be automatically added to the Act database just by clicking this button. In this case, all of them were added. You can see down here this one list builder has 4 records that have not been added to the database. Contacts can be added to the database. They can also be updated in Act from those forms. So if you wanted to have a form where people can update their address or update information about themselves, you can actually create a form for that and have it update the records back in the Act database. Okay, I'm going to close out of this, and I want to go over now and show you how all of this looks on an iPad. So I'm going to switch back to my local machine and show you a photograph and some screenshots of the Act screens. And if you take a look at this first one, this is actually my personal desktop on the iPad from the login that I was at. Let me go back to that real quick and show you my desktop in this virtual environment. So you can see it's all the same icons. It's QuickBooks, Word, Excel, Act. And if I go back and again minimize this screen and I go back, there's those same buttons in here. A little bit different order because the screen size is obviously different on the iPad. If I go to next, one thing I want to call your attention to is this bar running across the top. Hopefully you can see that. There's a keyboard icon and a mouse icon. I wanted to show you that because the iPad has the ability to take screenshots, and I wanted to make sure that you realize that this is an iPad screenshot by looking and seeing this bar up top with the keyboard and the mouse buttons on it. And as a matter of fact, the mouse has been activated, and here it is right here. This again, this is Outlook. This is a full-blown desktop version of Outlook in a Windows environment accessed on the iPad. You can see that I had Act open down here as well. And once again, there's those buttons so whatever I can do from my desktop, I can do from my iPad. So to further demonstrate that, there's Act. There's Sage eMarketing. So I'm able to actually manage my e-marketing from my iPad. I can send out email blast, I can create drip marketing campaigns, I can drop people into drip marketing campaigns, I can manage my surveys and web forms, all of that right from my iPad, no matter where I'm located in the world. Here's my computer. So this shows me that I have access to all of my server drives from the iPad. One of the differences you'll notice is there's no mapped local drives because the iPad doesn't have a local drive. But these are all the server drives. So anything that anyone saves to the server, if I'm a sales rep, if I just open up my K drive on the iPad, I've got access to whatever anyone happened to save on that K drive for the entire company. So I've got access to that information. We'll go another step to further demonstrate that. I'm actually into a few more folders now, and we're going to open up a file here, this virtual roof brochure content. We open that up on the iPad in Word. So here's full-blown Microsoft Word on the iPad, and I've opened up this document. And if I go back to my server login to just further demonstrate the connectivity here, and I go and open up my computer, I go to the K drive, my documents, Don, and I go down to virtual roof. There's those same files, and if I want to open up that brochure content, there we go. We'll zoom in on that so you can see it a little better. Same document. So that pretty much wraps it up. Just wanted to make sure that you were aware that we're able to provide your employees with access to a server environment that the entire company can share, and they can access that from anywhere in the world, from either a Windows machine, a Mac, a Linux machine, or an iPad. And you could have a home headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia, and a sales team scattered all over the world with iPads, and they're actually able to share all of the same data with the home office, and it's instantaneous. It's live data.